What is up, my Gaggle of Geeks, and welcome to the probably the final video review for today. It has been a day two of Sundance, and it's been awesome. This movie was a part of the Midnight Ones. Knocking. It is a Swedish horror film directed by Frida Kempf, and this stars Cecilia Miloko as Molly, who is a recently, I guess, cured psychiatric patient that is released after having a nervous breakdown. But she starts hearing this mysterious knocking noise coming from the apartment that she's moved into. She still has to check in with certain people. People from the psychiatric ward are reaching out to her to see how she's doing. And all the while, this knocking keeps happening. She is in an apartment complex, so obviously there's upstairs neighbors, downstairs neighbors. So she checks with the upstairs neighbors, and there's nobody can tell her exactly what's going on. But she consistently hears it. And whether that is in her head or not, that is up to the viewer when you watch this film. But I can tell you for sure, it is a very suspenseful, if not a little, I wouldn't say quite, because quite disturbing would say something like Prisoners or something like that. I wouldn't call this Prisoners level, like, crazy, but it definitely is suspenseful and ratchets up that tension to where you're not really sure whether she's making this up, whether she's just hearing it in her own head, or whether what's happening is actually happening. I really think that the performance by Cecilia was incredible. She puts it all on the line. Her physicality is incredible in this. Like, she really does kind of appear to be somebody that is on the cusp of having another nervous breakdown. All of the supporting characters, they're kind of only in it sparingly, but they do kind of leave a little bit of like a suspicion. You're questioning their motives as well, because you want to trust that Molly is cured and that she can kind of move on from the tragedy that caused her to be there in the first place. However, there just keeps being these little things that are happening. If there's only like there's a couple things that I have to say about, I guess, the premise of hearing something on your ceiling that might be something. So I lived in a basement for about 2 years, and it was a basement underneath a fraternity ward. Our bedroom literally was below a pool table that they would play nonstop until like midnight, 1 a.m. And I got to tell you, I think Molly really didn't exhaust her resources as much as she could have with really trying to figure out what was going on. There are certain things that there's certain choices that she makes to where, or actually doesn't make, that really confused me. She's meeting with this landlord all the time. She has a phone, so she can clearly record the knocking, but she never chooses to do that. She never chooses to record the knocking, go up to any of the upstairs neighbor tenants and show them so that they can say, "Oh, that is something." But instead, she just kind of shows up unannounced. And of course, that can appear crazy. So she's doing all these actions that really lead all the other tenants to think that she's crazy too. And I don't know. She seems like she was able to get to the police, and like at some points she seems very smart and capable, and at other points it seems like she's totally going off the rails with whatever choices that she wants. And I don't know if that's true to the character or if it's true to making sure that the story continues and that there's a plot. Uh, I'm gonna have to think about that for a couple days. I'm not sure that this is as strong a horror film as Censor that came out yesterday. I still that's some of the imagery in that still sits with me a little bit, but this is still a pretty good suspense film. I would say you should definitely check it out, especially if you like international films. This is, again, a Swedish film, so it's all going to be subtitled. But the performance is very strong by Cecilia Monaco. I really liked her in this. Definitely check this out. There's been a few today that I've missed, and I mean, of not for lack of trying, like literally hour in between each screening, and then from there just kind of jumping in between. So tomorrow we have a lot of films to cover, a lot of ground to cover, but I am excited to do that with you all. if you got a chance to see this movie, Knocking, what did you think about it, fellow critics, fans, anybody that's checked out Sundance so far? What has been your favorite film for today, if you checked out yesterday? And what are you most excited for moving into day 3? I love you guys. Thank you so much, as always, for watching. I really appreciate you guys checking this out. This off-the-cuff stuff does not normally work for me. I mean, I sound like I'm confident. I'm terrified. I've peed myself like twice. I'm wearing an adult diaper through all of this. That's the end of this night. All right. See you at the next review.